get picked in this game. Because I mean, if you do the stats, Stu, I'm pretty sure we'd find that those two champions would probably be amongst the biggest selection in this tournament anyway. But that Nautilus pickup once again for BWS, we saw it. It was a prio pick in the blue side, but then was flexed into the jungle later on in the team comp. So again, going for that same kind of ruse, but I'm pretty sure BBB would have definitely looked out for that one. But again, the Jeunes being available for Kiss Kiss, or even the Jeunes, because we saw him perform very, very well in game one on this Jeunes yesterday.
I think a lot of players are starting to use that Jeunes in the top lane a lot more than the mid lane. I think the Jeunes just has a lot better matchups in the top lane, especially with the meta now for Wild Rift going to these kind of control mages and to these AP mages in the mid lane. Jeunes kind of struggles a little bit, whereas in the barrel lane, he can come up against the bruisers. He can trade very well against the bruisers, you know, likes of Fiora, for example, if that's going to be picked up. But the Jeunes, as you mentioned, Kiss Kiss doing an incredible job yesterday in that mid lane on Jeunes. And I'm curious where this Nautilus goes, because when they first picked Nautilus last time, Baguettes, they were kind of forced to put Nautilus in the jungle because they didn't really have any AP damage. So they were like, okay, we'll just put the Nautilus in the jungle. That's totally fine. You know, we'll get a bit of AP damage from that, I guess. But now they have some AP damage with the Varus, so I don't think it will go into jungle this time around, with the Camille being locked in the barrel lane. So already you're seeing some very strong power picks on both sides of the Rift.
Yeah, just pretty much brand names throughout this entire tournament. The Varus, the Nautilus, the Camille coming through, Jeunes, Jeunes, potentially this Corki being picked up here as well. So not looking to lock in any support picks anytime soon on the side of red team. They want to get all their damage on the board. And it's currently looking like the Jeunes could potentially be in the Baron lane. We could see Jeunes in mid. We could see Jeunes in the jungle. Same for the Jeunes. More or less that he's not going to be in the Baron lane. He's more likely going to be down there in the mid or jungle. And then Corki, again, another flex mid pick. But we've seen him quite sometimes in this tournament go down to the ADC role as well. So already banning out a few ADCs like the Kaiser. Now they're banning away the mid lanes because Varus is more likely going to be the dual lane on the side of Baguette with Sauerkraut. And then Camille is definitely going to be up in the Baron lane, or could be swayed somewhere else if needed be. But again, depends on what this matchup is going to be in the mid lane on the side of BBB, depending on where that Camille can go. Because there's some tournaments that we've actually watched where that Camille does actually drop down into the mid lane, does okay, doesn't do the best, but if it's against an assassin, it kind of works. And then towards the end of the ban phase, the Lee Sin falls.
I think it completely depends on the matchup, as you mentioned. I think Camille can still work in the mid lane, but again, kind of struggles against the mages. To be fair, I think Camille can actually do pretty well against the Jeunes in the mid lane. It's kind of a matchup that works okay. You do have a kind of range advantage as the Jeunes in the early levels, but if you have that opportunity as a Camille to jump in and to do a lot of work, then that'd be great. Two supports being banned away here, the Set and the Leona, so we're gonna have to try and pick up another support. There's a lot of noise happening outside my house at the moment. Not really too sure what's happening there. A lot of banging and noises happening, but I'm sure that'll be fine. I will ignore that for now, and hopefully I don't crazy don't happen outside my window. But focusing more on the draft again, Galio being picked as the support since this Set and the Leona is banned away, but I think they'll be totally fine with that, with the likes of Jeunes and Jeunes being jumping in. Galio can kind of come as a supportive support to be able to ultimate on top of them and also protect them at the same time.
I'd say you probably get swatted, Stu, but the fact that delivery services don't know your postcode, I don't think anybody else can find that one either. So the police be like, I don't know where he is. We'll just
where is this guy? I don't know. He's in some random place in the UK. It's like, yeah, okay, we'll find him. They'll stop putting up posters soon. I mean, wanted man.
That's it. Yeah, Inter on Wild Rift.
Wanted man needed ASAP. Oh god. Watch, I'll leave that. You watch, I'll leave the house tomorrow, and that will happen. I'll see posters of me everywhere. That'd be scary.
That's my job tomorrow morning, mate.
I would not want that to happen. But rounding out the composition here for Baguettes, they're going to go with the Jax in the end in the barrel lane. So we might actually see Camille mid, which is something that, you know, you was mentioning can do pretty well against the assassins and the bruisers, and I think it's going to do pretty well. But wow, the actually change it in the end. They're going to put Aurelion Sol in the mid lane. So as we mentioned, we thought the Jayce would be mid. We thought the Yone would be Baron lane. But BBB have switched it up completely now. Jayce in the Baron lane, Aurelion Sol in the mid lane now. And that becomes a lot harder matchup now for the Camille. I mean, the first ability for Aurelion Sol is going to be able to stack throughout the game. The third ability is going to be super annoying for that Camille to deal with. Yeah, I mean, this is really well drafted, I think, by BBB in the end. You know, kind of baiting, I guess, Baguette in a way, kind of saying like, oh, these are going to be our picks. Wait a second, we'll switch this around in the end.
Yeah, baiting the ruse was definitely the plan all along by BBB, as they've managed to lock in an actual mid laner, which is the Aurelion Sol. I mean, Random might give it a fair shot, trying to go 1v1 against the Aurelion Sol. As long as he doesn't get those stacks up on ASOL, I think he should be okay. But again, we may see some sort of assistance come up from like the likes of the Alistair or even the Nautilus pay a lot of attention down into the mid lane now because of that ranged matchup.
Oh, true. It's Nautilus jungle.
Yeah.
They did do that flexibly. Wow.
They did it. They've done it once, they've done it again. They've struck twice, but again, does lightning strike twice in the same spot? We'll find out if BWS manages to get that game 1 on the board. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, it's looking like a stacked front line there on the side of BWS, if anything.
Wow, that completely flew over my mind. I completely forgot that with the Alistair being picked and they've already picked Nautilus, that flexibility has already came into fruition. Nautilus full AP jungle now is going to be extremely interesting for the side of Baguettes. They have 2 really strong bruisers in the Camille and Jax. They have a lot of lockdown with the Alistair, the Varus, and the Nautilus. I'm not too sure if it's going to be enough, though. I mean, this Aurelion Sol, they need to target this Aurelion Sol. I think it's going to be really difficult because Aurelion Sol does really well against this composition because you've got 4 melee champions and you have a very low range ADC on the Varus. So as soon as Aurelion Sol completes that Riley's Crystal Scepter, he can just use his first ability and slow all these bruisers, and it's going to be really difficult for them to actually jump onto the backline to try and kill the likes of Aurelion Sol, Corki, and if they do, then you still got a Galio there to use your ultimate to protect you as well. So I think it's going to be super interesting to see how this works. The Jayce now going to Baron lane, going to be up against the Jax, which is again is going to be a pretty difficult matchup for the Jax as well. And then Yone being converted into the jungle. So I mean, on both sides of the draft, we get some really big surprises, and this means that hopefully we're going to get an exciting series.
Yes, hopefully we'll get into the Rift soon, but again, I'm not too sure what to say how they've been baited into the Camille in the mid lane. It's going to be really interesting to see how BWS come across it, because yesterday, Be Brilliant, jeez, I've butchered that one. Even Blam 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 was better than that one. Brilliant BabyBus was able to get the 3-0, whereas BWS wasn't able to. I think it's because both names start with B. I was kind of like, where do I go with this? Anyway, BWS managed to finish.
At least you remember the name. I don't remember Brilliant BabyBus or whatever. I just say BBB. I mean, so much easier, no?
BBB. Okay, it makes sense. Exactly. Going into the team fight, it's harder to say that Brilliant BabyBus, especially when there's no buses on the team. I mean, the closest thing to a bus is Galio. He's an airway. So, anyway, that's me going back.
Technically, Aurelion Sol goes choo-choo when he flies along. I mean, he's flying. He's not driving a bus, but I mean, close enough.
He doesn't choo-choo though. I mean, the closest person to choo-choo is Corki.
I mean, yeah, true. That is very true. Saying that, have you seen the Ornn skin that they recently released for the April Fool's event? They released a choo-choo Ornn skin on PC League, which he actually uses, like a train comes towards him, he uses the ultimate to push it back out, and it actually makes a choo-choo noise, and the ultimate gets pushed back out, and it's an actual train. You need to see it. I mean, I've just googled it.
It looks really cool.
Yeah,
I'd actually buy that.
It's such a cool skin. I've been seeing it being played a few times, but that unfortunately we don't have on Wild Rift yet. Maybe another day we'll get a cool April Fool's skin. Yeah, I mean, I have to wait until next year now for April Fool's skin, so maybe that time will be when Ornn gets released, but obviously have to wait and see. Just to remind people as well, as I completely forgot to mention at the start of the stream, Misfortune and Riven are both banned in this tournament, or in this finals I should say. both with the rework coming in, you know, all the teams agreed that it's just a lot fairer to have the teams not play or not have this kind of option of picking these reworks. That, hey, there might be a few surprises with like people picking up, people not understanding how the rework works, or there might be some really broken combos out there. So the teams just all agreed just to ban away for this tournament. But that means we just get spicy picks like Nautilus Jungle, which is Pog.
Absolute spice of my life is the Nautilus in that jungle. I mean, if that is the spice of my life, it seems very, very boring life. But hey, I'm not going to admit anything right now. It's far from boring currently. It's a lot of bullshit gameplay going on here. There's a lot of aggression on both of these side lanes currently from the Jeunes and the Corki and the Galio right now. Obviously, Corki having to recall here. Alisson doesn't have that proto belt just yet, so he can't just kind of gather that distance to try and take out the Corki. He has to answer to Jeunes on the Galio, but Nautilus is still quite close by after picking up that River Scuttle also. But Jeunes looking to set up a gank in the Baron lane here onto the Jags, but making sure there is no close by Nautilus. But now that Spirit Bloom, or the Bloom, sorry, managed to pick up the Nautilus and show some great intel for the side of BBB currently.
Yeah, overall, Nautilus has been able to clear the jungle faster than Jeunes, because Nautilus' jungle clear is just really weird, the way it all works. Oh, actually a flash coming in here onto the Corki and also the Galio, and they're going to look to try and do enough damage. They do actually do enough damage in the end, but a flash over the wall from Jeunes keeps him alive. Really well played, though. Really nice flash there on the side of Baguettes to get that pick in the mid lane. Now they're going to look to try and engage onto this Aurelian Soul as well. Does the Nautilus still have the ultimate? He doesn't, but he gets in range of the auto attack. 2 early kills here for Baguettes. A great advantage for them in the bot lane and also in the mid lane.
Yeah, considering the team comp, we didn't think that the 2 first kills wouldn't go over to the side of BWS, but we have been proven wrong. Random completely owning the lane there in the mid lane, thanks to the Nautilus as well. Again, just a lot of trying to get those early game victories on these lanes as well is probably going to be the key, not to victory, but obviously to a certain better mid game in terms of the team fights as well. So getting all those items up, those very key items, as we see that Camille goes straight over the wall, but is answered back by Jeunes with a knock-up from the Galio. And then we have Jeunes coming in as well with the ultimate. Galio going in. Grand entrance as well comes through onto the Jeunes, but is that going to be a little bit too deep? A little bit overzealous there, it seems. There comes the stun, and the sun onto, oh my god, the chains of corruption there. What was going on?
Baguettes completely run over BBB in that mid lane fight. As you mentioned, it was a bit of a scrappy start to the fight. No one really going down, but the counter engage in the end, like you mentioned, the chains of corruption was absolutely huge, and the Alistar doing a lot of work as well as the tower dive looks to try and come in this top lane. They're trying to take down the Galio as well. They're trying their best. They can't really tank up a lot of the damage, though. The Aurelian Soul looking to try and roam, but the Aurelian Soul doesn't have that much mana though left. Has to be a little bit careful. They're trying to get more kills here. They are going to get more kills. A double kill for the Jeunes in the end. A shutdown onto the Camille as well. So even though Jeunes hasn't been too much in these fights to start off with, 2 quick kills for this Jeunes can definitely turn things around. And now with the jungler just coming back alive, they can look to try and turn towards this Rift Herald. Well, they might not for now. They might just be looking to go back to base and just play a little bit safer for now.
Yeah, I think with the freshly acquired 2 kills and now back on the board, everybody quite being fresh-eyed on the side of BWS, I think it would have been a risky move for them to stay around in that Rift Herald, just like Bai is right now. Already pretty much half health. Same with the Corki. Corki is taking a lot of damage here. Jeunes having to use his ult over the wall just to escape, but whilst that was going on, Random is able to pick up Juicy there as another kill. That's the 6th kill on the side of BWS, and they're still at that Rift Herald pit, looking to pick up Shelly, looking to get some answers to what Serenity's currently doing down in the bot lane, picking up a few of those turret platings. Now Jax is going to answer the call. Mr. Patterson is going to go and halt that Jace there and then, and we see that BWS is able to pick up the Rift Herald as well. Huge ult from the Galio to come and assist the potential takedown of this Baron lane turret. So a lot to play for currently in this matchup, and BWS actually being a very frightful opposition to BBB.
Yeah, there's so much happening around the map right now. There's so many fights happening. There's so many exchanges happening right now. But the first Rift Herald does go over to the side of Baguettes. They're not going to use it just yet, but they need to use it soon, I feel like, because this bot lane tower could go down soon. This bot lane tower is basically on 1 HP. But for some reason, Final Wax doesn't want to drop this mid lane tower just yet. You can see the play from the Yeunes trying to happen in the mid lane, but nothing's going to come of it just yet. Looks like they're going to use this Rift Herald in the Baron lane, the lockdown onto the Camille, the kill as well onto the Corki. Now they're going to get the first tower of the game. The Jace is not going to be able to push that bot lane tower in time, and the rotations are going to come in for the side of BBB, but it's going to be too little, too late. Random is 5-1-1 at the moment on this Camille. We saw how strong Kiss Kiss was performing yesterday, but Random is 1 up on him at the moment and more. He's been doing an incredible job around the map, getting picks with his ultimate. And we were saying how this Camille pick could struggle in the early game against this Aurelion Sol, but now that Random has 5 kills, it's going to take some time for Aurelion Sol to scale up to have the same sort of power that Camille can have in a team fight.
I suppose it makes sense, because I mean, Rando being an ex-Baron laner is going to be one of these picks that was obviously predominantly a huge sought for pick in some of these series of the Rift Legends in the pro scene as well. So just trying to take, you can take the Baron laner out of the Baron lane, but you can't take the pure skill from this Camille pick that we know that Random has pretty much from experience as well. So I feel like even though it's a bit of an odds matchup in that mid lane, knowing that you have a great profession on the champion that you are playing in the mid lane just kind of makes sense. You're just going to be a little bit more susceptible to ganks, and I think somebody like Random has that map awareness, has just general game awareness as well to sort of stop any of those ganks. But there we go, we have the flash in from the Alistair there, trying to pick off the Corki, taking a lot of shots from the turrets, but it's still not enough to take down the Alistair. But down goes the Galio, and then into the back of the line, we see the Camille going in onto the Corki just to pick up and finish what Alistair started, looking to try and get another kill onto the Asol. But we have Yeunes coming in from the back of the Nautilus here, and maybe trying to pick up another kill onto Random. Random is trying to get in there, but it's a double kill over to the side of BBB with that amazing 4-2 trade overall. Potentially team wipe? No? Maybe? Yes?
Oh,
Flash
one
in.
more?
Oh,
that was close. Needed like 1 more second to use the third part of his first ability, and it would have meant death there for the Alistar. But again, it's just such a back and forth team fight. Both of these teams are playing so well. You can see the goal lead at the moment is dead even. At the start, it was a really nice tower dive, and the groan from Camille was really nice. But in that entire team fight, Yeunes was completely untouched. He was able to do so well to get into the back line, to kill off the Varus, to kill off the Nautilus as well. And since Random dove underneath the tower to kill the Aurelion Sol, traded his life for it in the end. And this Yeunes just went back to base and bought straight up an Infinity Edge. This Yeunes is going to hurt like an absolute truck right now. And this is what all the crowd control that Baguettes have in this game, they need to use it on this Yeunes as soon as he jumps in. And if they don't, then it's going to be really hard for them. But I mean, whilst this has all been happening in terms of the fighting, Jeunes has been able to do so much work in the side lane. He's going to try and do a little bit more now onto this Jax, the flash onto the Jax as well. But a Counter-Strike doing so much work there to keep the Jax alive. The Nautilus ultimate coming in. I'm not too sure if he's going to do enough damage, though. He's trying to do enough damage. The Galio is trying to defend him off, but it doesn't matter in the end. The Camille's going to come in with the flank. The ultimate from Aurelion Sol's not going to do too much, but here comes the Yone. Double kill for the Yone, but there's the CC I was talking about. No way he's going to survive. He survives on 1 HP, but everyone else on his team is down except for the Corki. And Baguette win the fight. But these fights are so insane, Blam. Like, there's so much happening, and they're so close that anything can happen in these fights. And it's such an amazing match to watch so far.
Yeah, it's just so random. Like, you don't know what's going on. The engage looked heavily to favor one of the teams, and all of a sudden you'll get somebody else come in with the also join the team fight, and then that kind of throws up a little bit of a spanner in the works, and then all of a sudden you get some amazing damage come through from the Yone just coming right in the back of the team fights, and then all of a sudden it then still goes back over to the original people that you thought was going to take that team fight with ease. But again, like you say, it's such a fun match to watch. A lot of back and forth, a lot of fun engages going on. Again, Jack's going in a little bit too deep there with the lead from the Counter-Strike, trying to pick off, but the Yone just managed to pick up the Varus as well with the status in that Hextech ultimatum just to exhaust the remainder of that ultimate from Camille as well. And there's that nice poke damage coming from Serenity once again. This Jeunes pickup into the Baron lane as well as the Yone has been such a great pickup for the side of BBB. And then that's to sort of overshadow that Galio just being an absolute commendable support pickup on the side of BBB.
This Yone, that engage with the Yone, they're going to get another kill in this bot lane as well. And they have such a big wave in this bot lane. But my God, that Yone engage, I mean, if anyone has a chance to go back and watch that, he uses his third ability over the wall for the flank. He flashes so he can get a better angle with his ultimate, and then he lands a 2-man ultimate on 2 of the highest value targets and really won the team fight there for BBB. It was such a clever way to engage with Yone, and he has been performing incredibly well on this champion this game. 7-1-1. He's going to go for more sustain now with the Bloodthirster. The stasis also helping him out in the end as well, but he has the most gold in this game. There's about 1,000 gold lead in the top lane, but there's also 1,000 gold lead in the mid lane for the side of Baguette. And this is where this game becomes so difficult to predict. The gold leads are basically even. It comes down to who is going to bite the bullet first, who's going to engage first, and who's going to win that vital team fight. Because with the Baron buff up now, the next team fight could mean the win for either one of these two squads.
Yeah, it's basically the coin toss that what happened in the last series was everybody just sort of trying to make heads or tails whether to go for the Baron Nashon in some of these team fights. And then obviously first game it didn't quite work out in the favor of 4JV, but less about that. Jeunes was in trouble, but Juicy coming through again with the grand entrance. They are trying to I mean, that was a little bit of a bait there, because we could see from that mid lane that there was 3 of the blue team coming through, and Camille getting the kill onto the likes of the Corki, and then onto the Yone being taken down. This could be that team fight that they needed, but Jeunes is doing some damage now. It gets taken down by the Nautilus, and now Corki is in a little bit of trouble. Oh, no, sorry. Aurelion Sol is in a bit of trouble there, and it is a double kill for the Nautilus, and then team wipe for BWS. It is an ace for them, so they can absolutely secure this Baron Nashor going forward in Game 1. This could potentially be the beginning of the end for BBB in Game 1.
As I said, that's all it took. One team fight. Really well played in that fight by Random again. He's been really the shining light for this team. He's done an incredible job this game. 16 kill participation out of 18 kills. Such an incredible performance by Random in this game. And now they have the Baron buff, and now they can look to try and finish this game. Random's going to go into the bot lane. There's not really anyone at the moment that can deal with Camille in this side lane with the Baron buff as well. And with the Dragon coming up in, looks like about a minute's time, it means that BBB have to try and take this Dragon to try and get the Dragon's soul, but I'm not too sure if they're actually able to. They're going to fall behind now in momentum and also in golds.
Yeah, I think any sort of team fight now is going to sort of go in the favor of BWS right now, because they are steadily ahead with that 6k gold difference, and that's only going to increase by taking these second tier turrets as well. We see another turret go down thanks to Varus, and Jax is sort of like working his way up into the Baron lane. We see Galio trying to go for that double taunt onto the Nautilus, onto the Camille. There's the knock-up onto Galio. It's going to be literally making him pretty useless there in that team fight, and Yone goes down, Jeunes is down. There is a full-on assault at the Nexus. It does have the shield, however, but they do have those minions that are being buffed by that Baron Nashor, and again, another strong minion wave coming around down in the Dragon lane, and it looks like game one is going to go over to the Baguettes. The Baguettes are rock solid, and the Buzz did not run them over and squish them.
No running over this time for BBB, unfortunately.
Mythbusters.
I mean, what a crazy game to watch. What a crazy game to cast as well. Like I said, super back and forth between these two teams. These fights could have gone either way, but I think the big difference is really the lockdown potential, really, for this squad. This flex pick that they're able to bring out with this Nautilus. Not only is he doing so much damage, I mean, you saw how much damage he was able to do with Aurelion Soul in the end, but just the lockdown and the crowd control that they'll be in there, it's just absolutely crazy to see who is going to do